that Mickey Mouse trophy personally.
Ooh, cold.
Next.
Anthony Davis
Yeah.
would not like that comment.
Anthony Davis will not like that comment because that's the only time he's actually played a full season where he was actually important to his team. Every time that he's been important to his team, where does his team go? Nowhere.
The eighth seed
Okay.
at best.
Now, now the Lakers need him more than ever. LeBron needs him more than ever. And where is he? Still in street clothes. I'm sorry, Anthony Davis. You are lucky to be on the top 75 list. I personally wouldn't put you up there because of durability and because of success in the NBA with team. I'm not talking about personal accolades because personal accolades make guys like personal accolades make people like Aaron Rodgers the best of all time. Okay. We're not talking about personal accolades. Personal accolades doesn't do nothing for the team. Okay. Personal accolades definitely makes LeBron the greatest of all time. Okay. But it's not about personal accolades. We're going to talk about how he made the team better. He did make his team better. Like, I mean, he would put up 40 points, whatever, but the team will not be in the playoffs. So even if they're in the playoffs, what are they doing? But ask yourself, Anthony Davis, I know you're not going to like this, but before and prior to the bubble, where was your strongest playoff run? I really want to know that.
They won a
I'd
couple
like to
games, right? Won a couple games one year. Huge run.
playoff runs, where and when was that and how consistent has that been? And that's how you become a top 75 player. You became a top 75 player based on your talent, not based on your success.
Ooh.
Personally,
That's what, you know what? And now, I like that you brought this up. Anthony Davis is now suffering from something that I call ring privilege.
What's that?
Ring privilege. You win one ring, and then you can basically say whatever you want with no repercussions. And the national media and everybody just lets you say it because you won a ring. Kind of the way, Glenn Rivers is considered a great coach until now he's basically proven that he's not. Same thing with Pete Carroll. Same thing with even Mike McCarthy to some degree. Why did he get hired by Dallas? You win a ring, and people always look to that instead of looking at the entire context. Now, Anthony Davis, I agree with everything you said for once. And Anthony Davis made a comment the other day. Would you like to hear it?
I'd love to hear it, Mike.
He said he was asked if his groin injury is the main reason the Lakers didn't beat the Suns in the playoffs last year. And he says it was. We know that. They know that. They got away with one. Now, allow me to respectfully rant on this.
That's what he said that?
In street clothes. I mean, maybe he was wearing a practice jersey. I don't know. But here's the thing. And Devin Booker perfectly said, "Hey, I think it's kind of funny." Yeah, as they beat them 140 to 111 without Chris Paul. Here's the thing. Even if you do feel that way, it's not something that you verbalize. I think that's a weak move. It's not a respectable thing to say. And number two, it's absurd. And I believe that there are a lot of Laker fans and a lot of fans in general that right now still feel like that is a true statement. And that's part of the ring privilege problem because the Suns and their players have not won a ring. Their main players have not won a ring. The Lakers won a ring. So therefore, and they're the Lakers. So they have the right to say these things and get away with it. The bottom line is that Chris Paul suffered a shoulder stinger in the first game, and he couldn't shoot literally until the end of game 6. So, yes, the Lakers lost game 1 with AD getting outplayed. They won game 2, they won game 3, and then they were losing at halftime when Anthony Davis got hurt. But you could see it's game 4, which we'll get into another time. But Chris Paul in game 4 is dynamite. He just dominates in game 4. That's like the swing games, and that's when he's always great, as long as he's not hurt. And even if he was hurt, it was a game that he was on fire and they won. So I think it's ridiculous, Les, that in this day and age that people don't look at both sides of the spectrum. They look at, oh, this guy was hurt. AD was hurt. He's a champ. and they're just going to conveniently ignore the fact that Paul couldn't raise his arm above his head, and he looked like he was in Space Jam, and his powers got taken away from him. He couldn't even pass. Okay, so bottom line is the Suns were 51-21 last year. They're 48-10 this year with Paul. They're the best team in the West. They're the best team in the NBA. They're gonna win a championship, and eventually down the road, Anthony Davis will look stupid for his comments. Hopefully, they play each other this year so they can win one game, the Anthony Davis staple, other than the Mickey Mouse ring. One game, and the Suns will put them out of the misery, and LeBron will throw a hissy fit. That's all I got.
So, Anthony Davis is that's an entitled statement from him. For him to just sit there and say they stole, they got lucky. Well, first of all, Mr. AD, Mr. Bubble, all right, you got lucky winning the ring. If you want me to be quite honest with you, there are teams that didn't even want to play in the bubble because of what was going on. Okay, not everybody was in there. Do you know how many players actually didn't play in the bubble? There's actually quite some players that didn't play in the bubble.
No fans either.
Yeah, no fans, none of that.
Very well.
Yeah, we can already see that now. The Lakers are already now a good team, overall right now. They're not a great. They're ninth in the West with one game ahead of the Pelicans. Okay, they're 2 games out of the play-in tournament, and you really believe that the Suns got lucky? Well, first of all, Mr. 80, let's go back to the bubble, all right? With the bubble, first, there's no fans. It's like practice, okay? And they're like, oh, it was hard. We had to not see our wives and this and that. You guys played AAU. You guys act like we ought to them play sports. Yeah, I didn't play to make money like you guys are doing, but that's the point. If you out there making that kind of money, it's okay to go away for 2-3 months, all right? People in the military do it. Sometimes you got to be all locked in and go get your job done. Okay? So if you guys are doing that, don't sit there and complain about how it was tough. And no, it's part of the game. Part of, how it should have went. Fortunately for you, come again?
Pampered athlete syndrome right there.
Yeah. At the end of the day, they made it seem like, oh, the bubble is so crazy. But then when things started going their way, when LeBron had to dictate, yell, and hear himself in the building and all of that, it was fun. When they had the Heat to squeeze their hands, that was fun. The Heat had no business being in that final. You kidding me? You know what I mean? The best player was Jimmy Butler on their team that had to guard LeBron. How's that?
A couple great games.
No, not working. Look at guys. There's so many people that averaged points that they will never average or close to them, and it was all because of the bubble. I guarantee you that. As Devin Booker, he would tell you Tyler Hero was going off because of the bubble. We all said it because of the bubble. PJ Warren. He was averaging 30 points on the Pacers. Bubble, brother, bubble. Okay? When you put in an enclosed area with, sometimes it gets easier. No fans, no distraction, none of that, I personally think it was an easier route. So, yeah, I think he got lucky winning the ring for him to, sit there and say the Suns. No, the Suns beat him. Durability is part of the game. And, mister, you not being available is not nobody's fault, okay? It's not nobody's fault. It's like, yeah, you got into a foul trouble. You were out of the game, and then another guy came in and, the team was picking on him. It's not the other team's fault. Know how to play good defense and not get thrown out of the game, things like that. You can't just say that, Now he's giving me the ammo to go ahead and say that, he won a lucky ring, personally.
So I have a couple of questions. Mm-hmm. So what is that quote? The best ability is availability, right? Like we were talking about with Brady, and LeBron and Jordan. These guys they got one injury. That was about it. Are we going to refer to Mr. Davis as Mr. Bubble from now on?